Luba, outro. And now your host, Dr. Keshav Mudgal.
Thank you for that beautiful music by Luba Hilman, dramatic yet soothing. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the opening night of Afew, or Art for Essential Workers, a live interactive theatre company that aims to encourage dialogue and inspire us all to value the meaning of being human in today's digital age. I'm your host, Keshav, a doctor working at King's College Hospital, as well as an actor. Being an essential worker myself, I have lent on the arts throughout my training and career and know how much of a release a soothing piece of music, theatre, or just staring blankly at a piece of a candle shaped like a woman can be. One of our sponsors, Lady Candles, makes this exact thing, which are candles shaped like ladies. This is a historical point for ourselves and for the arts as a whole, where we give you a platform for two-way theatre, not just the old way of you sitting there in your chairs, watching behind a pint of beer or a tub of salted caramel popcorn, but actively interacting with the show and pushing the limits of conventional art. I encourage you to comment, question, and jot down any notes that you may have below our live video on YouTube, whether this be how this has been the most exciting performance you've had of your life, or why you're having an existential crisis dealing with this interactive digital platform in COVID-19. Our 30-minute show includes performances by actors and musicians who are willing to let you in on their stories and their inspiration for the art. So feel free to engage with them and put your comments and questions in the comment section, and we put these to our team at the end of our performance in our Q&A and story sharing session. And now, a word from our founder and creator, Nelson McMillan, who is not only an actor himself, but also a British Navy Royal veteran, a Harvard businessman, and a very creative and inspiring man. Over to you, Nelson.
Thank you very much, Keshav, for that introduction. Good evening, everybody. Well, here we are. 2 and a bit years ago, I actually ended up in hospital because of a stress-related illness. And I made a vow at that point that actually any life decisions from then on would be based on my values and my purpose in life. Now, that's been pretty hard to maintain. But come 30th of April this year, I got furloughed from a day job and decided actually to take those values forward, take that vow forward, combine it with my love for the arts and my desire to actually want to give back to society. And that's how Arts for Essential Workers, Afew, was born. I'm very fortunate to be surrounded by a few great people tonight. You're going to be entertained by some wonderful artists that we've got coming up. And to Keshav's point on comments and interaction, That's what makes us unique. That's why we're different as a new age theatre company. We want to be relevant. We want to be accessible. That's so key for us. But most importantly, we want to be digitally interactive as well. Let me give you a quick example. We can see some posts are going in here online on our comments section. I've got a post here from my wife, actually. Thank you very much. Amazing, Luba, for that piano introduction. So you can see there, we've got a bit of interaction already. And thank you, Emma Allen. No more plaudits for me, please, because that's, too kind. We'll have them for the actors and musicians coming up. But as you can see, guys, share away your inspiring, your compliments, your inspiring thoughts, and your stories and thoughts as well. And with a bit of luck, we'll maybe have one or two of you on camera if you feel a bit brave enough as well. Now, what have we got in store for you tonight? Well, talking about inspiration, I want to introduce you to our artistic director, Katie Coull. Katie is a Scottish creative who trained at East 15 Acting School, after which she co-founded two theatre companies, Dead Life Theatre and We Are Kilter. Both had successful runs of their original works in the past 5 years, and notable plays include A Bit of Sunshine, written by Nicole Zweibeck and directed by Katie and co-founder Ed Theakston, where they were awarded Best New Play at the Stockwell Playhouse and Most Successful Short-Run Play at Theatre 503. Bit of Sunshine also gained multiple 5-star reviews in its 2 trips to Edinburgh Fringe. Katie also had an excellent run with her play Celtic Sisters, which she wrote, produced, and acted in. Having been raised in a family full of teachers and nurses, Katie feels a strong connection to the ethos of afew. Now, don't be fooled by Katie's fresh face looks. She is wise and a leader beyond her years. Let me introduce you to Katie Coull. You have the floor, Katie.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to our performers for this evening. And you're going to see 2 of my original pieces tonight. And the first one is called Hiding Spot, and it is performed by the fantastic Jorginho Osuagwu. He's playing Theo, who is trying to tap in to his inner zen whilst living in slightly unconventional living situation.
Meditation is much more complex than you think, man. You see, if I was on some retreat, it would be easy because you're actually in a relaxing setting. I do think, though, yoga retreats are a cult. I think a lot of organized groups are culty. Now, I've been doing my research. Humans aren't supposed to be in these big packs and cities, man. Look, we're supposed to exist in smaller groups. Just a little collective of hunters and gatherers, dotted around the vast lands. Humans are doing it. I mean, the grand it. That's why I'm here. For now, anyway. I'm a nomad. I like to find a little pack, my own little tribe and stay close. I like this couple because they seem to keep themselves to themselves. They're like me, they keep a small circle, self-sufficient. She even grows motherfucking cucumbers in the kitchen. Damn. Anyway, I've been trying to meditate for like an hour or so, but this setup right here, man, it's not ideal. The boiler is buzzing like a constant fly at the back of my ear, and I can hear these 2 downstairs just arguing and bashing pots into the damn cupboard. And I can't be certain, but my third eye is telling me that there's a mouse in here somewhere. No, my friends, this is not a tranquil treehouse. It is, in fact, a cluttered loft with potential rodents. I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice, easygoing guy. I'm not fussy, not at all. It's not like I grew up in a mansion either. I haven't even had my own room. 2 brothers. 2 brothers. Do you know what it's like sharing a room with 2 brothers? I'll tell you, it's messy. 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 Say goodbye to privacy, man. Those were one of the most stressful years of my life. And I'm telling you, between my mum and my bunk beds, Best believe I did not have a single date until I hit uni. But anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, recently I've been trying to tap into my inner Zen, and I'm struggling more than I thought, to be honest. You know, maybe it's because they're not Zen. I mean, she pretends to be for sure, with all the essential oils and soothing music and shit. You know, to smell, travels, and sometimes I fall asleep to the faint scent of lavender. Makes me feel somewhat connected to her. You know, he just plays video games constantly, and imagine bring her here with me, lay next to each other, you know, and her. We could just exist, just us, self-sufficient. He's no good, man. I'd be much better. I'm way more on her wavelength than he is. We could start growing fucking tomatoes in the kitchen. But nah, wait, I'm doing too much. I'm getting way too involved, you know. I'm lucky. I know that. I'm very lucky. You know, I'm not trying to risk all of this. Not yet, anyway. Not quite yet. Look, like I said, I'm super humble. I'm a simple man. I think that's why I like this place so much, actually. You know, it's the privacy. I get this whole loft to myself. No bunk beds. Just a mattress on the floor. But that's trendy now, right? Mattress on the floor. It's cozy, quiet, and if I close my eyes and really sniff out the lavender, I can imagine she's here up with me too. I wonder if she'd like to go on a retreat to the wilderness with me and start again, start fresh without him. Damn, I'm getting way too involved again. Look, sorry. Maybe it's the whole meditation just getting me all loosey-goosey. Oh wait, question. Are you supposed to spend the whole meditation thinking about food? Honestly, all I can think of are fish finger sandwiches. She made one yesterday, and I was instantly transported back to when mum and dad were working at the shop late, and I would come home to school from school, and Marcus would have an entire box of fish fingers, and he'd empty it into the oven, and Adrian would be sat cross-legged on the floor watching the fish fingers cook. I wonder if Marcus makes his kids fish finger sandwiches. Man, now she's gone. And now she's gone and made one. I can't stop thinking about it. You know, every time I take a breath in, fish. Breath out, fingers. In, sand. Out. Sounds like they're leaving soon. You know, maybe I'll nick a couple after yoga. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? Yeah, I deserve it. You know, and a craving should never be ignored. That's what my mum would say when she was ever on a diet and we'd catch over a Kit Kat. Theo, you should never ignore a craving. It's your body telling you you need it. I'm not sure that applies to chocolate, but it definitely applies here. When did I last eat? God, I'm much better at meditation than I thought.
Thank you for that hilarious yet somehow creepy performance by Jorginho. Sorry that there were bits in there were a little bit choppy as well, so we apologize for that. And this is how sometimes it works, especially in terms of working with online and a live theatre company. So if you've got any questions or any comments to ask Jorginho in the section below, please go ahead. whether he really has an obsession with fish fingers or not, and any other questions like that. Up next is the brilliant Pippa Lewis, who is an acting musician originally from North Wales. She has worked as a musical director and toured the country with several productions. She will be performing a cover of the song Fever, written and sang by Peggy Lee. And just to say, we do not own the rights to this music and is strictly for your entertainment. Over to Pippa.
Never know how much I love you. Never know how much I care. When you put your arms around me, I get a fever that's so hard to bear. You're giving me fever. When you kiss me, fever. When you hold me tight, fever. In the morning, fever all through the night. Everybody's got the fever. That is something new. Your fever is an old thing. Fever started long ago. You gave me fever. You gave me fever. You gave me fever. What lovely way to burn. Romeo loved Juliet. Juliet, she felt the same. When he put his arms around her, he said, Julie, baby, you're my flame. Now give us fever. When we kiss it, fever with that flame in you. Fever. I'm on fire. Fever, yeah, I burn pursuit. Now you've listened to my story. Here's the point that I have made. Chicks are born to give you fever. Be it Fahrenheit or centigrade, they give you fever. They give you fever. They give you fever. What lovely way to burn. They give you fever. They give you fever. They give you fever. What a lovely way to burn. What a lovely way to burn. What a lovely way to burn.
Amazing piece there by Pippa. I was just in the background here, just driving along to that. I don't know about you guys. But once again, if you've got any questions for Pippa, do feel free to comment in the section below and just find out a little bit about her with her Instagram hashtag, and you can go and follow her all yourself as well. Over to Katie now, our artistic director, to go on to the next act.
Hello. So our next performance is a piece called Dancing Queen, and that is being performed by Mercedes Assad. It looks at a girl who has many a tumultuous relationship, and she is forced to look at herself and think, why is it all going so wrong?
Reading normal people makes me sad. The manipulation of Marianne's love, first and foremost from Connell, is heartbreaking. To be picked up and dropped, to be unsure if you're enough from one day to the next for the person you care for the most. Because she was so young when she fell for him, and over such critical years in her development as a woman, and sexually, she is totally undone by his treatment. The shame he feels for her, man, you feel that. Her constant craving for him, to want her body and her heart, man, I felt that. I felt that. The way you feel so small until they give you something smaller still to cling on to, and like a drug, for a second it's enough. Then it only goes and makes your chest hurt more. It makes your head hurt years down the line when your heart's supposed to have healed. Or you feel safe again. Or for the first time, and you close your eyes, and just as you're about to slip out of your consciousness, the thoughts and memories pour back into your brain, or maybe they pull up from the heart. And there's a twang in your tummy where you feel all that confusing love and abandonment again. You think back on the kisses given and the touches withheld, and you think, God, didn't I do enough? Did I say something too much? Was wanting that apology the tipping point where I wanted us to be? The anger comes too, for her character and you. But I read, flicking through the pages with rage and anticipation, thinking, no, girl, for goodness sake, don't you do that. Don't you put up with that. I'm thinking, she's an idiot, and she's a child, and she must be hurting so much. And that man is trash. That boy is trash. And I feel the anger move inside me, and I think all those boys were trash, and I'm brilliant. I've been trying to be brilliant all this time. And the only time I fall short, my only lapse in judgment, is with these stupid, beautiful boys. Like the first one jammed a corkscrew into my chest and twisted just a little. And the next one came and said, Christ, that's awful. You're beautiful. Let me help you. And then he just twisted it more. This happened in a cycle. And sometimes I think that this boy is the nice one. The one that will do open heart surgery and gently remove it from my chest cavity and fill the gap and hold me until the pain leaves and my eyes are dry. And maybe he did take it out, but he didn't sew it back up. He left me open and he left. And it feels like she is laying there on the table with her heart exposed, like it was from the beginning, only now it isn't naive and pure, it's broken and sore. Normal people made me feel sad. Lots of books do. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad book. I think it's really great. It just made me feel a lot, though. About me and about her and about Connell. And I don't care if he looks sexy in a chain, because we all need to stop letting gorgeous men ruin our days. So, yeah. That's what I thought of the book. I'll have to watch the series next.
Fuck! How did you survive Game of Thrones?
But this just hit a nerve, okay?
You know what you need to do.
Tell me.
You need to stop listening to Taylor Swift.
She does make me cry.
And Harry Styles.
What? Why? He's the only uncomplicated man in my life.
He is absolutely not uncomplicated. He's definitely got issues.
You don't know him.
Okay, fine. Even if he doesn't, he's giving you a false sense of security in Pretty Boys.
Oh, I know.
Pretty boys are no good.
But
don't say they're pretty.
Not wrong, though.
You're a nightmare.
No, yeah, I know. I'm fully aware of that.
Who is it?
No one.
Margot.
Simon.
Stop.
Oh, you're always this annoying.
I think the question is, were you? And the answer is yes. Yes, you were.
Great.
You might actually be the problem with women.
Honestly, I feel that.
Good. Your rehab starts here.
I don't think I agreed to this.
It's a must.
Thank you for that brilliant performance, Mercedes. A performance I think we can all relate to. Being told off by a friend when you're in the middle of a sulk session, when you're bathing in self-pity and your friend just comes along and tells you and puts you in your place. Thank you. We're getting some comments from the studio, from YouTube, if I'm not wrong. So that's Joseph Patterson. Love that speech. Gorgeous men are the worst. Who are you, strong, powerful women idols? Okay, that's brilliant. Keep those comments coming in. Up next, we've got a performance by Luba Hilman. She is a singer-songwriter, composer, and musician based in London. Luba has a background in classical music and says her music is inspired by many genres. Over to you now, Luba.
Hi, my name is Luba Hilman, and I will be singing a song composed by myself. It's called All I Need. Up all night till morning, can't close my eyes, 'cause all I think is about you calling. It's been a week, and ever since you left I'm falling. Don't wanna hit the ground, I can't carry on ignoring these feelings that I'm holding now. I've got all I need when you're here standing next to me. Every time you leave, I just replay the memories. I'm still waiting for the day that you don't ever let me go. I've got all I need when you're here standing next to me. И как обычно пройдет привычно новый день безо всяких вздоров, нашумевших проблем, но так очевидно, от себя мне хочется бежать и не отпускает меня до в летних думах. Все, как я хотела, снова ты рядом со мной. Потеряла смелость, взгляд незнакомый твой мне по коже и похоже определенно. Другой жаль не срослось, оказалось глупой игрой. I've got all I need when you're here standing next to me. Every time you leave, I just replay the memories. I'm still waiting for the day that you don't ever let me go. I've got all I need when you're here standing next to me. Thank you.
Well, that was amazing by Luba. Thank you so much for that performance. Looks like we've got a few more comments coming up. So if any of you guys out there feel something about the performance and you've got any questions, just pop them in there. Give us a few more comments there. Alana, there we go. Wash hands, all engaging performances. That's brilliant. Yes, that's good. All good to hear. Anyone else there want to say something? Gino, that was masterful. Reminds me, I've been avoiding my meditation work for too long. That's right. I've been not meditating for a long time either. I did quite a bit of work last month, but now, Gino, recently just not been able to do it. And I think maybe after this fish finger session, I might go back to it, to be honest. Maybe just get more into my eating routine and, see how I feel. Maybe that'll get me a little bit more hungry. Speak to Gino a little bit longer and see what happens. Any more? Have you got any more there? What a voice. Yes, that's right, Fiona Lang. Yeah. Brilliant voice by Luba. Such a charming voice indeed. All right. Okay. Shall we go over to our next act? So this will be Katie again, introducing the next act. And so over to you, Katie.
Thank you so much. So last but certainly not least, we have Emily Steck, who's a writer, actor, and performing a piece of her original work called Ronald. And we see her getting into some difficulty when she's met by some noisy neighbours, which we can all relate to. This is a noisy neighbour with a difference.
Ronald! Ronald Sheridan! I know you're in there. The whole street knows you're in there. Open this door. Open it right now. Do you think we can't hear what you're doing in there? Do you think the entire street can't hear what you're doing in there? I have a kid at home, and she wants to know if someone is crying next door while a big man huts a puppy, and all I can say is maybe. Go on, crush my foot. I'll be a martyr for the good of the neighborhood. Turn off the porn, Ronald. Or at least down, or honestly, just be a modern man and put your headphones in and wank silently and sadly in your dirty little room so we can all live in peace. You don't watch porn. Wow, never. How old are you? 16. 16 and you've never watched porn. Don't look away from me. Where's your mother? Who? Your mother. Where is she? The pub. Of course, classic Sharon. Maybe I'll give her a call. Share a few of my thoughts on you and your porn. I'm sorry. I'm what? That was one time, Ronald. One time I asked you to look out for Sally. Yes, people, adults, sometimes need to go out, and it's none of your business where I went. Are you calling me a bad mother? Have you met your mother? I didn't ask for your parenting advice. Did I? Ronald, did I? Yes, I criticized your mother, but that's called freedom of speech, Ronald. No. You don't have freedom of speech. You're a juvenile boy who's exposing my child and frankly everyone in a 5-kilometer radius to bad porn. It's bad porn because those actors sound like they wouldn't know what pleasure felt like if it hit them in the fucking head. Yes, they are actors, Ronald. Bad actors, probably, but you know, have some respect for the work you consume. Let me guess. Bad lighting? Oh, no professional lighting at all. Great. That sounds like a dodgy job. You getting any plot? Any plot? Stepsister seducing stepbrother, I reckon. Seems like horny little boys have a real affinity for Clueless. I mean, I couldn't tell you why. I wouldn't touch my stepbrother with a 10-foot pole. Clueless. The seminal 90s. Never mind. Getting any angles? Tasteful angles, not penetration cam. She's not enjoying it, Ronald. No, that's a bucket of lube that's been poured in there. So that little horn monsters like you think that that's how a woman enjoys sex, but you'll know soon enough that that is not how. Oh, was all 2.5 seconds of it thrilling? Did you feel like a man when you couldn't make her come? I'll tell you why you can't make her come, Ronald. Because you're watching Tut, Swill, Amdram. Listen, Ronald, if you turn it off or just put in your headphones, I'll tell you where to find the good stuff. Real girls, webcams, live, chatting to you, showing you things you've never seen before. Take it or leave it, Ronald. I have gardening to do. I'm not a hooker. I'm an online erotic performer. No. If you want the good stuff, you have to pay for it. If you want to keep on watching bored people moan, that's your business. If you want the good... Yes, I was a temp, so Sharon's not wrong, but do you know how much that pays, Ronald? £7.25 an hour. An hour. It's not enough, Ronald. £7.25 is not enough. Do you think my tropical themed garden pays for itself, Ronald? I'm saving up to buy a jacuzzi, mate, in London. Find me a job where I can work for less than 40 hours a week from home and have enough extra cash to buy a jacuzzi. You can't. You tell Sharon about any of this, I'll tell her you groped me on the street. Okay? Good luck with those GCSEs, by the way. Dream big, babes.
Thank you for that performance, Emily. I don't know about you guys, but I do feel sorry for Ronald. I'm not sure I've been in the same situation myself this time, but it does seem like a lot to go through. Hilarious and a totally unpredictable script by Emily there. Let's have a look what you thought about that. Have you got any comments, any questions, you guys out there watching it? Anything from the studio there, Nelson? This is hysterical. It is indeed. Yeah, you're definitely right there, Joseph. Anyone else? Good performance. Yeah, brilliant there, Emily. Who else? Anyone else got anything? I agree. Really beautiful writing. Thought-provoking, yes. So much to the speech by Mercedes. Would love to hear more about the creative process behind the speeches, which we will actually do in the session after this, which is a Q&A session and a story sharing session as well, where we speak to our team and our performers, and we talk about what's inspired them. I might have to ignore that comment by Brian. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say Amdram is better than sex. Thank you, Brian. That's brilliant. Obviously, speaking from experience there as well. That's brilliant. And by Adrienne, Emily, that was amazing. I could not agree more. Do we have anything else on there, Nelson? What an amazing show. Thank you so much for joining us. This is not possible without the two-way interaction that we have. And for us to bring this all to you, and we wanted to just make the arts more accessible with this production that we have here and as a company. And I think the whole new point and the unique selling point for our company here is actually that we get to sit down and have a discussion with our actors in a performance, as well as our team, to get you guys to ask any questions, to see whether there's something that might inspire you or something that you might want to give to us to think about further. How are we doing there, Nelson, in the studio?
We're good, Keshav, and we're ready now for the panel session if you are.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, let's talk to our panel with a Q&A session and see if we've got any questions for the panel at all. How are we doing there? I've got a question myself, actually. My first question is to Pippa, if that's okay. Great, okay. So Pippa, you're an essential worker yourself and an artist.
Hello.
Now you can hear me, I can hear you. How do you manage to balance that life? And do you think in these times things have been a little bit harder?
Yeah, it has. Well, I would say during COVID, I worked. So I work at an SEN school, special educational needs, and we were open in our school. We were basically we weren't educating the kids anymore during lockdown. We were basically a respite for the children, for either key worker parents or children with specific behaviours that their parents and their families needed a bit of a respite from. But there was a whole rota system going on, and I'm sure some teachers who are listening would know about this. So I actually had, there were more days off than normal. And so during those days, I'd just be on my piano all day, doing it every day. I moved it down in our living room. And yeah, it was just a lot of time to create and have fun and play around with a lot of things.
Yeah, that's great. That's really good to hear. I mean, I can speak from my own experience. I've been working part-time, and obviously during the COVID crisis, there was a lot of work needed in the hospitals. But I would just love the time off so much more to do any writing, or if there's any work, need to do any acting or any drawing or anything like that. And I think, if anything, a crisis like this just brings our creativity out and just shows us what we need to explore more, something that we really need to explore, especially to just lean on and just unwind after a day or so. Nelson, have you got any questions for us from the studio? Maybe not. We can wait for that in a second. Okay, my next question, if that's all right, is with Gino. How are you doing, Gino?
I'm good. I'm on mute. Am I unmuted? Perfect. I'm good. How are you?
We can hear you now.
Hey.
That's great. Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit about Theo, your character, and what did you have to do any character work, and how would you feel you related to this character?
I did have to do quite a bit of character work, to be honest, because I think lodging at someone's house without them knowing is a crazy thing, man. Like, I'm sure you understand. That's wild. So to tap into that character was interesting. It was very interesting. However, the meditation part, yeah, I've tried meditation before. I've tried it, and it's so hard, bro. It is so hard. I don't know how people can just clear their whole minds and not really, I don't know, think about, I don't know, the sea or like water or like flame. I don't know how they do it, because every time I try and tap into the inner Zen, I just start, I don't know, I just keep on thinking about other stuff. It's just hard to kind of completely be able to meditate, I think. So it was just interesting. He tried that when there's so many distractions. And I hate fish. Also, I absolutely hate fish. I despise fish. I love them. I love them. I love them as animals, but that's probably why I don't eat them. But yeah, so so obviously with acting you gotta pretend, and I was pretending that I loved fish fingers so much, and it was quite, I think that's probably the hardest bit, to act like I love fish fingers.
Yeah, did you have to use any vegan options or anything like that?
Say again, sorry?
Did you have to use any like substitute breaded vegan options for the fish fingers, just to sort of put them in the oven and see how that goes? See how that makes you feel.
Yeah, like I've never had fish fingers before, so I actually don't really know what it tastes like. But it looks like chicken nuggets. So I kind of just substitute chicken nuggets, McDonald's chicken nuggets to be precise, with the fish fingers. Which was it made it much easier for me to pretend I yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thank you for that. Thank you for that insight, Gino. That was really helpful, and I'm sure our audience appreciates it. So, back to the studio here, to Nelson. Do we have any audience? Do we have any questions from the audience at all? Okay, we've got one here by George Bolton. The sketch on the stepsister porn sketch was very funny. I agree. What was the inspiration for that, Emily? I have never understood why this stuff is out there. I'm not sure whether he's talking about why this stuff, your stuff, or whether the stuff about porn is out there. So over to you, Emily.
It's the genre of pornography, and I don't have an answer for that. I'd say different strokes for different folks. In terms of the inspiration for the piece, it's sort of twofold. I did see a news story where, I mean, it was much less funny as a news. I mean, that's assuming you thought I was funny. Hopefully you did. The news story was like definitely a bit more grim. It was about someone who was playing really loud, I think like not nice porn, like constantly all day, every day. And like the neighbors couldn't get them to turn it off. And I was just like, wow, what an insane situation. And then obviously just being in lockdown, where I live, normally I'm house sitting right now. Our walls are really thin. So you just, not that we've had any sorts of problems like I described in the monologue with my neighbors, but just like, you're so much more aware of everyone you're around, and the way that can kind of drive people to their edge. So I guess that is it.
Yeah, that sounds like a horrible position to be in, to be honest, and I can understand why you would actually want to write something about this and vent out to this person. Hopefully, maybe this person can hear from somebody watching tonight and We'll have a go at them.
No, they're not my neighbors. My neighbors are very nice. But
Great. So I think I've just had a message from Nelson saying that we've got somebody with a live question in a house. Is that correct, Nelson? Nelson, can you hear me?
Yes, Keshav, that's right. We have somebody who's brave enough to be dialing in. So
Brilliant.
bring them into the studio.
Okay. Hello there. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Hi, everyone. It's amazing.
I hope you've enjoyed the show.
Loving it.
And what are you drinking there?
Pale rosé. Gin and tonic.
Okay, great. Do you have a question for any of our team or performers?
Well, my name's Sita, and Keshav, as a doctor, I can really relate to what you're saying about using the arts as complete escapism. That's really important, I think, given our job, especially in the last few months with what's been going on. I'd like to thank Mercedes for her sketch on normal people. I think that was so topical and like of the moment, and I think there's not a single person that probably hasn't at least read or watched Normal People. And as a young woman, I can definitely, and I think everyone in here can relate to what she was saying about beautiful men ruining our lives. So,
Lovely men.
Well, that was incredible. So I'd just like to congratulate all the performers on their performances. It was brilliant. And specifically to Mercedes, just ask like more about her background, where she trained, and what inspired her about the piece, other than the obvious personal experience.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I thought that was a brilliant piece as well. Okay, thanks a lot for your comments and your question. Let's go back to Mercedes, and if we can ask her a question to say, how do you feel if your character was much different to you as a person, and what was your thinking that went behind Margot?
Yes, in answer to Katie, who wrote Margot, who wrote this monologue, seems to think that it's well suited to me, but I think that Margot is a lot more. She's a lot more articulate with her like feelings, especially her feelings to like books and stuff. I tend to have to like let it settle for a week or so before I don't have these visceral reactions like Margot does, and that's why I really like the character, because she's just she goes through so much after reading this book in like 5 minutes. That's what I really like about her.
That's probably what everybody went through when they were reading the book as well, to be quite honest with you. I'm watching the TV show.
Yeah, definitely. But it's go on.
No, I was going to say it was absolutely brilliantly acted, and the writing was perfect from Katie. It was brilliant. Everything about it was absolutely fantastic, and we all had a lot of laughs in here anyway.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you for that. Do we have any more comments from anyone or any questions? Okay, Luba, where can we find more of your music? So Luba actually has... actually, I'll let Luba comment on this, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I don't hear you well. But yeah, you can find my music everywhere on iTunes, Spotify.
I think we might have some trouble hearing Luba. I think just in terms of the microphone, but that's fine. We can just see that it's lubahilman.com. And you can also follow her on the gram at lovelubochka, if I pronounce that correctly. So yeah, she has a lovely website where you can see all her music on there. And she's got SoundCloud as well that you can follow if you like. Any more questions from anyone, would you say, Nelson? Okay. Meditation is hard, but so worth it. Let's discuss. I agree. Meditation is hard. You've got to focus on your third eye, man. That's what you got to do. But yeah, it does take a little bit of time. And the people who can do it out there, they are the blessed ones. Are you trying to break it to your family? Love, Mum. I think that might be for Emily. Okay. Lovely comment there. Anything you have to say for that, Emily?
Yeah, no comment. I mean, no, Mom, thank you.
Okay, so our next question is, what inspired the writing behind Jorginho's character? That's over to you, Katie.
Yeah, so with Hiding Spot, I've written for Gino before, and I just love working with him, and so I really wanted to create a character that Gino could have some fun with, and I think that everybody is really cooped up at the moment, and I wanted to think about what is the most extreme version of that, and so I created this plot where Gino's character is actually a squatter, unbeknown to lady and man downstairs. And so we sort of follow him and we think, gosh, he's got some really good points. He seems really level-headed and normal. And as it trickles out, you're like, do they know he lives there? And also, I mean, when we did Tech, Pippa, my flatmate, giggled away because we have been making our own bath salts with lavender oil. We've also been growing cucumbers in the kitchen and tomatoes, and we may or may not have had a mouse. So there was lots of little things that fed into it, but I paired with Gino, and then I wanted to write something fun for him and something fitting to what we're all in. And I try my best to write funny because I am someone who loves a good crime drama. So I tried my best to stray away from that, but we still got a little bit of illegal activity.
Yeah, I agree. There was definitely a bit of crime in there. And good to use just things from real life using cucumbers that are grown. I think that's brilliant. More of that to come. Next. Okay, so if we're happy from our panel to move on to the next section, which is talking about our patron, Lorna Brown. Lorna is a respected international actor based in London. She trained at Royal Central School of Speech and Drama and debuted in Once on This Island. In the 25 years since then, her acting experience has taken her from the Royal Shakespeare Company and the National Theatre to television and feature films, the first of which was in Denmark and saw her nominated for a Robert Award. She most recently appeared in Terminator: Dark Fate, and we can expect to see Lorna on the televisions again when she will be in Devils for Sky later this year. Over to Lorna for her word.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to say a big, heartfelt thank you to all our essential workers for the work they have always done, and particularly for the last 4 months. In the spirit of honesty, I have recorded this message because my darling mum died 10 days ago and my heart is battered. I also realized that I couldn't say something tonight without speaking about my mum. My mum, Shirley Brown, came to this country in 1962 from the countryside in Jamaica to London, and she came cherishing the dream of being a singer, and she was an amazing singer. She never actually achieved that dream. She channeled it into singing in church, and everyone knew when she was singing, when she was in church singing, you could hear from outside. She just had this amazing, big, beautiful voice. But what she did do was she trained to be a nurse. And I always say I am the daughter of a nurse because it's a particular thing. Those that know, know. And I have these vivid memories of being a little girl and watching my mum get ready for work, putting on her stockings and a little pocket watch. And I just remember there was this sense that she had of pride. There was never, even on Christmas Day when she was getting ready, there didn't seem to be any resentment. And there seemed to be this pride in what she was doing. And I firmly believe that we are at our best when we are in service to humanity, when we see the bigger picture of what we're doing. And I don't mean that in a romantic way. I mean the hard graft of digging to find the humanity in the toughest situations, whilst seeing the fragility of life, which we've all had the opportunity to experience, certainly in recent times. So my mentor, the peace activist Osuagwu, I'm a Buddhist, writes of what he calls the poetic spirit. A vital sense of the connection between one's life and the life within all things. The poetic spirit is the impulse, the vibrancy at the core of all artistic expression. This spirit has the power to retune and reconnect a discordant, divided world. Art and culture are the living expression of the human spirit and the cords that connect not only individuals, but cultures, drawing them together in recognition of our common humanity. And it seems to me that's what we do when we're at our best. We bridge that gap. Arts for Essential Workers has the opportunity to be in service, to give the best, to serve those who have served us so amazingly, and to create a conversation so that we can go on to develop something so that it keeps moving. I know my darling mom would have loved this. She became part of an invisible, sometimes termed the Windrush generation, an invisible generation of immigrants who came in service. So I would really like to dedicate this to them too. And to say that I am privileged to be a patron of Arts for Essential Workers. And I would like to thank all the creative team, all the actors and artists who've given their time and their hearts and their minds to creating this evening. And I look forward to the coming months, the conversations that we will have, and the deepening of our human spirit and shared experience together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for those words, Lorna. An artistic view as well as something that affects her quite deeply. And I think that's what we're here to do. Arts for Essential Workers is about connecting that bridge between everyday jobs, essential workers, doing what you do on a daily basis, and then using the bridge to arts and being able to use that to unwind and just relax and be able to appreciate what you have. So this takes us on to our next person, an essential worker himself, and what being a part of this company means to him, and being a part of this theatre show means to him. Dr. Tarun Gupta is a GP and an occupational physician. He is the NHS Commissioner for Mental Health and an advisory council member for Arts for Essential Workers. Over to you, Dr. Gupta.
Thank you so much, Keshav, for that intro, and for everyone. Some great performances today, some hilarious moments in that. Just 2 minutes from my side to make a few quick points. What I thought I'd do is just give everyone a bit of background on the scale of the issue that we're kind of facing. A quarter of people in the UK have got a diagnosis of anxiety or depression, and 10% of people in the UK work in the healthcare sector. So, when you think about it, there's a massive kind of number of people there that we know of. Actually, from a general practice perspective, we know there's massive underreporting and people don't seek help. So the numbers are probably higher. Furthermore, women are twice as likely to be affected by mental health issues than men, and they're disproportionately represented in the healthcare sector. So something to keep in mind. And I think in addition to the economic and social costs, there's also the massive individual costs that kind of come from not picking this up early enough. So, when Nelson got in touch with me and said, would I like to get involved, kind of jumped at this chance. I think this meshing of digital with the arts as a kind of prevention is really addressing a massive unmet need. And I think, whatever we can do to help people process their feelings, manage their behaviors, and control their stress levels would, is vastly beneficial. So, just to finish then, what we need is everyone's support. We've got our website, artsforessentialworkers.org, and we need some donations. 2/3 of that money is going to mental health charity and 1/3 to help us continue our core mission, to really work on the prevention and raising awareness for common mental health issues. And we appreciate your support. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot for your words, Dr. Gupta. That is, I totally agree with you. And this is our company is trying to strive for people out there who might need mental health support, and we are donating to the Mind charity. So yes, all your donations do mean a lot to us and to the people suffering. Okay, so that concludes our show this evening. Thank you all, the supporters out there, for sitting there and watching and listening to us. Feel free to comment any more if you like on YouTube, and we can get back to you on that. And feel free to spread the word as well. Our next performance will be at the end of August, with our theme being healthcare for the month. Please join us again, and more information on this can be found on our website, which is artsforew.org. In the meantime, you can listen to our podcasts, which are again found on the website, a recording of our shows that we have on, and see how we're making a difference. Now, for the outro, I go back to Luba to play us out.
Good evening and good night.